Hello and welcome to Magical Mucker, a game of Dungeons and Dragons and Drawings. We're a bunch of cartoonists, illustrators, and comic creators who won't just be playing the game but also drawing what happens along the way. Let's introduce tonight's cast, starting with, I guess, in reverse order this time, Priscilla.
Hey, I'm Priscilla, and I am playing or Sukato if she is in trouble. She's a kobold barbarian druid.
Right, then it is Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm playing Bobo Loco. He is a halfling, tavern brawler, monk, gun wielding monk.
And then, Brian.
I'm Brian, and I'm playing Quarthus, the third musketeer in this group, the rogue Loxodon.
Excellent. All right. So, tonight we continue the Queen's Pride one-shot, or two-shot, I should say. We resume the story with our players who were guarding their queen during a heated exchange with an Orcish ambassador when an assassin shot a crossbow bolt into the mix, wounding the ambassador as a result. And then a short chase later, the assassin was captured, and you were facing down a group of unruly orcs with guns drawn, weapons out. So yeah, we begin the game with a quick scene where we left off. Would-be assassin, cuffed and face down in the mud. Sakara in lion form, growling over them. Orc warriors, bodyguards to the visiting ambassador, leveling their greatswords in the direction of our players, the members of the Queen's Pride. A tense standoff as both parties lay their claim to the half-elf assassin. Bobo, not one to mince words, levels his gun in the orc's direction, and you see slight signs of fear showing in the eyes of these huge warriors. As what was it you said? You remember?
Is that jurisdiction?
I think it's like, I'll shoot you, I bloody will. I can't remember.
Don't make me shoot you, because I will.
And then, as a result of that intimidation check, they sheathe their swords as they concede. One single orc still has their blade out pointed in the direction of the three players, and Quarthus, you hear them utter under their breath one single word in Orcish as their weapon slides back into its sheath. And it's simply
What's the word?
honorless. Cut 2. You're in the dungeons beneath the Pride headquarters. Chains jingle from nearby cells as water drips from an unknown source. This is a squalid and depressing place. In a cell before you is the assassin, arms chained behind her back, sitting on the ground in the hay scattered about the cell. She faces your direction, stripped of her armor and anything of use except for her shirt and breeches, and she wears a slight smirk upon her face. There is scant light in here. Some of the sun breaks through the tiny barred windows, some from a torch in a nearby sconce. And the smell down here is just uncomfortable. Nearby stands one of the orc guards, keeping a wary eye on the individual in the cell. Commander Amanda stares, arms crossed, at the assassin as well, before turning to the party and saying, "Come with me," as she motions and walks up the stairs. And as you walk, he continues. The ambassador is in critical condition. Seems that crossbow bolt was tipped with poison. We don't know if she will make it, and her guards won't let our healers get close enough to check her. The amount of mistrust between our peoples does not help. And
That's too bad.
He leads you to a table in a room where there are other members of the Pride. They sit at desks, filling out files and writing letters. On the table before you is the evidence laying scattered about. There's the tools of the assassin's trade: her blade, crossbow itself and its bolts, vials of a purple liquid, a coin purse, thieves' tools, some rations, and a piece of card the size of like a playing card. It has a picture on it. It's a very good likeness of your queen. Written beneath it simply says 1,000 PP, or platinum pieces. Which is a very, very substantial reward. So, Commander Amanda continues on. We did not believe the ambassador was the target, but rather a bungled attempt on our own queen. Any and all attempts to explain the situation to our visitors has been met with sheer disregard of the facts. We are being held responsible for her condition. If the ambassador dies due to this, I fear it will be war between our nations. And then she kind of points at the ground through to the dungeons, at the orc standing down there. They want her head.
What, the Queen's head?
No, the assassins.
Right.
Catherine de Leon, which is the name of your queen, has been moved to a secure location until we are satisfied she will be safe. You three will be leading the investigation while I keep things under control here. You have full autonomy in this. Get it sorted, so we can bring Her Majesty back and help sort this mess out. Any questions?
Is there any reason we can't just give this out? I mean, after we get, I've got a question in him, of course, but seems fair. Tried to kill. She tried to kill their master.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be killing her anyway.
There are some legalities we have to consider. The assassination attempt took place on our soil, so it has to go through the courts. At least, I think it does.
I mean, if we think that actual target was our queen, that's straight up treason. That's off with their heads type of situation. That is.
The way that our orc friends see it is that regardless of whether or not our queen was the target and the assassin missed, she is the one who is in critical condition and not our queen. I wish that our queen had been hit. It would be so much easier to deal with the situation, but unfortunately, it was the ambassador. And I agree, we should hand this assassin over. Make things so much easier.
I would like to use my keen smell to investigate the purple liquid. I want to take the top off and give it a smell to see if I can identify the poison.
Sure. Give me an investigation check.
I have advantage on ones where I'm using my scent.
Do it.
So with my keen, I've put a lot into my investigation and I rolled a 15. So I will combine that to be 21.
21.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you take a smell of it, and you have to like pull your trunk away almost instantly. It's a very acrid, acidic smell, and you surmise that this is quite possibly and probably the poison that the assassin used.
Right, but can I identify anything about the poison? Like, oh, this is from a jellyfish from a certain cove or from a spider, or is there anything about it that can help me identify where the poison might have come from?
Oh, sure. It is a common poison used by assassins. It's not uncommon for an assassin from the Belloc City to have utilized. Let me see. What it could have been. Yeah, it's definitely something more manufactured than natural. It has that tinge to it, which is almost like industrial, but that's created during an industrial process rather than through just extracting it from like a spider's glands, for example. And that could just be the agent that they've used to get it settled, so it doesn't go bad after like a couple of days. So it, like, makes it last for like a week, like a preservative, so to speak.
Is there anything in my background and knowing about rogues and all that sort of stuff that can pinpoint somewhere in this town that this might have come from?
What'd you say you rolled again? It was like 20, 21?
21.
21. There are, I mean, a few places spring to mind for you for sure. There's it's kind of it's the type of poison that is used like pretty commonly by assassins in the city. Like it's
So if it's common, then that means that there are frequent assassination attempts of various people.
I'm trying to put together like your background with like what's happening in the city, because you don't usually deal with these like with poison itself, right? Like you haven't been on an assassination mission, like you've snuck around the campus and that type of thing. It's I think you might have smelt it once or twice when you were hanging out in the Kraken. You know, like you've caught a whiff of it on the air, and you know that's a place where people can pick up jobs like this.
And do I know anybody who uses these cards?
Oh yeah, the cards themselves are it's kind of just it's the way people get. It's part of like getting a job.
But is it like, oh, this is from the such and such guild? Like who manufactures these cards?
It's like the size of a playing card. Well, make an investigation check on the card.
Okay.
And this isn't smell based.
Fucked. Ooh, natural 1. So 7.
Okay. So yeah, you flip the card over, and I think as part of your job, you know that these cards are used to identify targets for jobs. Like I think that's a given. But as to who manufactures them or where they've actually come from is a different story altogether. That's like they could be made in a printing factory down the industrial sector, or they could be just hand cut, which probably seems more likely, less ability to trace, but it is like the size of a deck of cards, just a normal pack of cards.
Is it printed or is it handwritten?
Sorry?
Is it printed or is it handwritten in the drawing?
It looks like it's been
engraved?
Well, you make an investigation check on it as well. Natural 1?
No, I just remembered that I have a -1 in this.
Oh, okay.
8.
8, okay. Well, I mean, you look at it, you turn it over. The picture of the queen itself does look printed. Like, and you're not sure where you've seen it before, but the image itself looks like something you have seen before, and you're like getting around the city and living here and that type of thing.
Well, she is the queen, I would assume. It seemed like one of those common, official portrait style things.
It very well could be, yeah. I mean, you look to your right, and there's a painting of the queen on the wall, a reproduction of like her official portrait. She looks down from her portrait, everyone working to remind them of who they serve, that type of thing.
Well, I'm I'm going to relay everything that I've learned. I relay that information to the rest of the group, by the way, even though I'm not specifically saying that out loud. Brian is not saying it out loud, but Quarthus is relaying this. Like,
Right.
the smells of a common poison used by the riffraff, not of a particular area that I know of. Perhaps created by someone.
Do we know of any anti-queen sentiment that exists in the town already?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely
like any particular groups that want to commit regicide.
Give me history check, I suppose.
Not my strong suit, but all right.
And anyone
got a 3.
can give a 3.
It's inconceivable to Bobo that anyone would want to try and kill the queen.
Who would want to kill her? She's lovely.
She's great. What has she ever done to you?
Brian?
Yeah, only a 6. I rolled a 4.
Yeah, nothing springs to mind. I mean, you know they exist, but you can't think of anything at the moment. There's been no reports of anybody that like actively trying to hurt the queen at the moment.
Rolled an 18.
18? Yeah, there is. Okay, so something occurs to Sue. She's like, a few months ago, there was someone they dragged in for distributing pamphlets. The reasons why the queen and the royalty is bad, and why we should switch to democracy, that type of thing. And it was just like a little pamphlet. He was trying to like introduce more workers' rights and that type of thing. But he was released as being like harmless. And the name of it was like the Stag Errant, like the name of the little publication. They locked him up for a few weeks and then released him, and he hasn't been doing anything since. It was like a slap on the wrist.
Did he have money?
No, he was a worker.
What was his name again? Sorry.
The name of the publication was
right.
the Stag Errant.
And we don't know who published it.
No. Oh, I mean, you could find out easily who the guy was, but he was thoroughly investigated while he was locked up, and then after a time, he was released.
Can we pull those files?
Yeah, if you want.
How big is this bounty? Like, what compared to the finances in your world?
Okay, yeah. I said, what did I say? 1,000 platinum pieces. That's a huge sum. That's a lot of money. That'll set someone up for the rest of their lives.
Is that like $100,000 maybe? More? 500,000? $500,000?
Like the equivalent of today of getting like $1 to $2 million.
Who do we know in the town or even outside the town who would have that kind of money to pay?
They're like lords.
Oh yeah, there's tons of lords around who would love to see, or not love to see, but like they might have an interest in the queen being killed. There's the foreign royals and all sorts of stuff. Like there's
perhaps orcish royals. Do we suspect the orcs at all in this?
Well, give me an insight check.
All right. Hang on. Six.
I mean, it could be.
We are high rollers tonight.
Yeah.
Bobo suspects them.
Yeah. The rest of you realize that orcs don't place as much, like they don't consider monetary wealth that big of a deal. But it's not unheard of for them to use money to purchase things from other like to trade with, but they don't place a high value on it.
This person had terrible aim. If they had,
it was a close thing. It was
person.
A close thing.
Okay.
They shot from like quite a ways away, and it would have hit the queen if they had like stayed where they were, but
okay,
they moved out of the way and hit the ambassador instead.
We could interrogate this.
I wonder if they were maybe trying to incite something between the orcs and the queen, because surely it seems like there'd be a better time to try and make an attempt than when there's a bunch of big burly guards all armed and waiting and on their toes.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, someone's trying to disrupt these negotiations.
Who would stand to benefit from the orcs not having peace? That's a question for Matt. Is there another group like the elves or somebody?
I mean, yeah, definitely. This potential alliance, has been viewed as worrying by some of the neighboring nations, the elves especially. They have a general distrust of the humans that live here in this city, in this state, in this country, and the orcs in general, I suppose.
And this person is an elf.
Half elf.
Half elf. Okay.
Are there any nobles who were against the notion of the alliance within the kingdom?
I mean, there's a few outspoken nobles for sure, but.
Are any of them outspoken and also rich? This must narrow it down. Can we get at least one name?
They're all okay. There's a couple that are definitely outspoken. Trying to find my notes.
So not a fan of the queen, slightly racist and rich and outspoken.
And would have somebody who is would be placed in place of the queen, who would be sympathetic to them.
I love what you're going with. This is really good. Bloody hell,
possibly has connections to kingdoms that would benefit from the war.
Yeah, like who's the next? Who's in line of succession?
Well, yeah, okay. These are the deep questions that I haven't considered. This world that I created.
In other words, this is not relevant to the story at all.
You think that? Okay. I think what it comes to is that you realize that if the queen died without a clear succession, because she doesn't have any children herself, nor any like siblings or anything like that. She's only child. Yeah, and she's still looks
she's
quite
really
young.
Not doing her job then, is she?
Well,
apparently, the rest of her family wasn't either.
Her father died relatively young, and she took the throne at a young age, and she's in her 30s now. And I think the burden of having the throne has really taken a toll on her. So, well, not taken a toll, but like kept her busy, I should say. So the idea of raising a family just hasn't been something of interest to her.
So the line of succession is not like set in stone. It's up for grabs, basically.
Kind of. Yeah.
She doesn't have any aunts or uncles?
Cousins, maybe distant cousins.
Sure. She does. Let's get them sorted. Who do you think she would have?
Perhaps she has a ward who she has announced as her successor.
Okay. All right. A ward. I like it. This is good. Keep me on my toes.
Listen, if you're going to introduce royalty, you got to know the whole line of succession.
Let's go interrogate the assassin
and politics.
Okay, assassin's not going to have any answers because Matt doesn't have any answers.
No, the assassin's got plenty of answers. Depends if you can roll well enough. Is the thing. As a ward. Okay, yeah. So she's got a ward. Where did she get this ward? So the nation you're in has been involved in a few wars.
I think it's it's a child that she stole from one of her
stole or like rescued.
No, not rescued, more like stole. Because that's usually how wards are, right? It's like you beat your enemy and then you take their child and you're like, this is my child now.
Okay. Queen has a ward. A from stolen child, which is full of connotations.
If you mess with us, this person dies.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But then, she grew to have some affection toward this ward.
Yeah, I mean, as it would be. Like, you don't take a child and treat it poorly unless you're a monster. And your queen definitely is not that. She's looked after this child as if it were her own.
Yeah.
And I think the relationship between the two is very good. Like they don't hate each other as you think they probably should. And the child's parents visit from time to time. And where do they come from?
Really, it's benefiting this other nation because they get one of their own in the seat of power of a foreign nation that conquered them.
Potentially, yeah. Okay. The queen has a ward, a stolen child from a neighboring land. Taken after a war. To keep them in mind. There we go.
All right, let's go talk to the assassin. I feel like she's got answers to all of our questions.
They'll all be lies. We can't trust anything they say.
I will say that I have mentioned one pretty big plot point already, and I think maybe it was glossed over, but there has been some a nugget of information that has been dropped. But please, what would you like to do?
Go into the cell where the assassin is being held. Is there some kind of light we could shine in her face?
Yeah. So as you leave the table, Amanda says, "Right, I'll check in with you later. Bring any information to me as quickly as you can." And then she turns and heads up to her office. And three of you head downstairs again. And as you come downstairs, the burly orc is still standing there, staring into the cell at this person who. She looks up at the orc and is kind of just smiling slightly still. And as you come in, you hear the chains jingle. They say, they don't say anything actually. They just kind of look up at you.
All right, are you going to talk to us then?
And about the weather?
On the weather?
Yeah.
Like if it's raining out?
You're more talkative than this one, at least. And she nods, towards the orc.
What's your name, lass?
What's yours?
Bobo Loco, but you can call me Commander Loco.
Commander Bobo Loco. Right. You can call me Sally.
All right, Sally. You're on some pretty serious charges here. Regicide.
Right.
Attempted regicide of, another nation. So I guess my question to you is, how exactly do you want to die?
Quickly.
All right. I can facilitate that as long as you answer some questions for me. Can't speak for the other guys, though. They'll probably want to kill you slowly. They may even try to eat you. I don't know.
Here's the thing. You misunderstand. I don't want to die at all. But if I am to go, I'd rather go quickly.
Well, you don't really have a choice there. You're going to die either way. I'm giving you the choice of dying quickly and painlessly, or slowly and torturously. Depends if you're going to cooperate or not.
She just kind of shrugs and leans back on the stool a bit and doesn't say anything further. Just kind of looks up at you, expecting an offer of some kind, I suppose, waiting for you to say something.
Who gave you this trading card?
Suk isn't saying anything, but she is kind of going around and looking real close at. She's basically going to examine the body of the assassin for any clues, particular amounts of dirt or hairs on her clothing, what kind of clothing she has, any smells. She's gonna do a really very weirdly intense snuffle around in her clothes and her boots and in her neck.
When I see this going on, I'm going to join in.
Okay. So just to double check, you want to go into the cell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So sorry. Also, Brian, you asked who gave them the card?
Yes.
Yeah.
While I come into the cell.
So a couple of things happen then. Basically, you motion for a guard to come over. They unlock the cell, open the door. You see the orc kind of perks up a little bit as the door opens, and stands a little bit more attentive. The three of you enter the cell, or two of you, however many, and you ask, well, who gave you the card? And the assassin says, which one?
The one with the picture of the queen and the price tag.
Oh, right, that one. Well, person who gave me the job, really.
Oh, well, that clears things up. Do you happen to know their name? Do you know what they look like?
Where did you pick the job up?
Right, well, I'd love to help you, but look, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die not telling you a thing.
I've already given you the choice of dying quickly or dying slowly. If you don't cooperate, you're going to die slowly. Did I not get that across?
Give me an intimidation check.
Gladly.
As she says that, I want to help her by, or I want to help him by, as he says that, Suk kind of does a little at one of the fingers.
Okay. So if Brian, if Quathis is going to also investigate, one of you can make the roll each, or one of you can make it with advantage.
Let's each make it.
Okay. So I got a 15 on that intimidation check, but are we making an investigation check as well?
Oh, I think it's both. It's happening at the same time, concurrently.
Okay.
So,
well, I failed that investigation check. It's really not my strong suit. I'm just here as the muscle.
Oh, you rolled investigation as well?
Yeah.
All right.
I got a 19 on the investigation.
Nice.
I got a 15 on the intimidation.
12, you said?
Yeah, on the investigation.
Okay. All right. So the assassin begins talking again. She's like, all right, well, if I have the choice of the two, I'd rather take the quicker version. So I don't know who gave me the job. Well, I think I don't know. I'm pretty sure I don't know. The person who did give it, well, the one I spoke to and saw, well, I only met them twice, right? And, well, let's say they weren't very forthcoming with information. It was a pretty well-spoken human woman. Was offered the job in the stalwart mouse, popped down in the trades. He made the offer, and I was interested. And then we met at a coffee shop a few days later, where we just talked, not about the job or anything, just inane stuff. And then I got the target for the job via envelope. They just left that in my house one day. It was on the table when I came home. But at that point, it was too late to back out, I suppose. So they know where I live, know how to get in, and well, they'd already give me a bunch of money. And that's all I know, I swear.
What did this woman look like?
Pretty plain looking. Human woman. Fairly well dressed, I suppose, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Did she have a particular accent?
Sounded like she came from the city.
Posh?
Yeah, very posh. But, sorry, Brian, out here.
Glasses? No glasses? Hair color?
No glasses. Dark hair. I'll give you a description of her if you want to. Yeah, whatever. Then you take some notes down. But yeah, a few things you pick up from. Was it a smell check?
I thought it was like eyes and smell. Like I didn't roll with advantage. I just rolled regular.
Okay. So yeah, you do pick up smells of the forest. You can smell that. It's like a couple of days of wear in her clothing. Like there's definitely sweat and whatnot has soaked through. And you get that mud and the moss and all that type of thing from her as well. And you do catch a faint whiff of like tobacco smoke and whiskey. Smells you would associate with a pub, sure. And that type of thing. Visually, this woman just kind of has like a little bit of an edge to her, but could definitely is the sort of person who could pass through a crowd of rich people or poor people, depending on how she dressed. And when you found her, she was dressed in her armor and battle leathers. So you definitely get whiffs of a pub on her from that. But you don't find anything else on her. If you're looking for some other items at all, you think whoever brought her in did a pretty good job of searching her already?
Just like as Priscilla had suggested, was there anything like, oh, this type of mud or dirt or like under the fingernails or hairs, like those types of things?
Oh, right. All right. And what did you get, Priscilla?
12.
12. Yeah, it's getting a little bit CSI Wings Pride, isn't it? I don't know if you'd be able to tell where specific mud came from in the setting. Like, there's no. I mean, there's definitely like dirt under the nails, but it's like it would match the color of the mud where you found her. Like maybe she'd been camping out there for a couple of days, waiting for the right moment to strike, and took an opportunity and missed. Technically, missed.
What does the bottom of her shoes look like?
So the shoes were upstairs. She's currently barefoot, but yeah, they look like kind of regular. Well, no, they don't look like regular. They boots made for sneaking, but they're not sneakers. They're just regular, like they're kind of like thieves' boots. So, but yeah, she gives you a pretty decent description of the person that hired her for the job, and
does that sound familiar to any of us?
Give me a history check.
$15.
15? No. It sounds like the description you're given sounds like it could be a number of people. Like almost like it could be anyone. And you suspect that's almost probably intentional on the behalf of the person that gave this job to the assassin.
Yeah, I would have to assume that whoever actually commissioned the job wasn't the one talking to the assassin. They probably had like a servant or something.
Or have magical shape-changing powers.
Mm-hmm.
Turn into a generic person. Still, let's go check out this pub.
Wait, what was the name of the coffee shop?
The coffee shop's name? I have that written down. Coup de Martin.
Coup? As in like a military coup?
Yeah. Like coup, the apostrophe Martin. Coup de Martin.
I just want to ask the assassin one more question.
Yeah. Shoot away.
You're gonna turn around like Columbo? Just one more question.
Just one more question.
Shaking the
Where were
you?
All right, this is getting a bit esoteric, but did your employer give any indication as to why they wanted the queen dead.
Well, I suspect the reason they wanted her dead is they didn't want her to be alive anymore.
Right. You're on thin ice, I tell you.
Well, hey.
I'm going to hand you over to the orcs in like 2 seconds, unless you stop messing around with me.
Listen, I've told you everything I know. I promise. You can roll an insight check on that if you want.
Yeah, I will.
I think I like
22.
22.
Not that I need to. Also roll the 1. So.
You get the impression that everything that they have told you so far has been more or less the truth. But yeah, when she says like, "That's everything I know," I promise. You think there's something more, but you're not sure what.
I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to let you think. If you can think of anything else that you want to tell me to, secure your fate, I'm going to go out there and talk to my orc friend for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to come back in here, and you can tell me anything else that just pops into your head. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds fair.
Okay. I'm going to usher the others out, and I'm going to kind of pretend to talk to that orc because I can't actually talk orcish.
As you approach, he just kind of takes his eyes off the assassin and just looks at you as you walk up, because you're compared to him, you come up to his knee. He just kind of does a grunt sort of laugh, looks back up at the assassin.
I'm gonna start talking to the orc, even though it probably can't understand me. I'm gonna say, she's hiding something, man. I can feel it. I could let you in there. You could break her arm or something if you want, but
and when you
gotta promise not to kill her.
The orc looks down at you. It's you can see there's an interest in his eye. Oh, sorry, in her eye. I should say it's a woman. My apologies. Female orc. And she looks. She's like, "You let me in." Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're gonna just kill her, then I don't know if I can. She knows something.
Not me kill. Not me.
You won't kill.
No, my leader, my boss. She kill.
Okay. Listen, why don't you come in with me? We'll do the good cop, bad cop type of thing. And maybe see if we can get a bit more information out of her.
Me take this one. And she'll point at the assassin in the cell.
Take? No, you can come in with me. She's not going anywhere.
I'm going to say in Orcish, you get 1 punch. 1 free punch.
She gestures for you to open the door.
All right, let's do it. A little bit of prisoner torture.
I want to make sure that I'm going to keep a really close eye on the orc not drawing a weapon. My hand's going to still a blade or something like that.
Right. I should say this orc still has the greatsword strapped to their back. Any attempts to have taken it and put it into lockup while they're inside were just kind of, they were like, "Are you going to tell her?" "I'm not going to tell her. Do you want to tell her?" "No, just let her keep it, man." That sort of thing.
But I'm just going to prevent her from drawing it.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And I'm going to load my gun.
I assume it's already loaded.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get it out and just kind of maybe get it out and put it on the table or something like that, just so that the orc can see it as well. I'm going to give him a little bit of a side eye, hopefully trying to convey if you start shit, you're going to die from the boomstick.
Okay. She's going to wait till the door opens, arms still crossed. They drop to her side, and she walks in with anyone that follows, and kind of just looks down at the assassin. And the assassin looks up and is like, "All right, well, there's one nugget I've come back to me memory. I can tell it to you now if you want. I mean, we don't have to do this if you're..." And
I thought your memory would be jogged if we just left you alone for a minute.
Then she starts stuttering and stammering. This orc warrior just kind of like grabs the half elf by the face and like lifts them up into the air and just like just staring them right in the eye, and everyone is just like still. This big beefy arm holding this waif thin like assassin in the air, and her legs just dangle freely underneath, and she's like trying to struggle but like can't get her arms out or anything, and it's like I'm telling you everything I know. If you just call, and the orc is just like staring at them in the eye, like
spit it out.
She says, I was meant to go back to a warehouse tonight in the middle of the night. I was given half of the money, and when I was paid, given half, and it was heavily implied that if I didn't finish the task, then my life is forfeit. So I'm dead either way. But that's it. That's everything. I swear.
Where's this warehouse?
And she'll rattle off an address down in the docks ward. Like a little import shop. Can you call off the big one? Yeah.
I'll tap the orc on the arm and be like, all right, that's enough of that.
And the orc doesn't respond. In fact, you see the half elf, her face kind of like squeezes a bit more, eyes start to bulge, and you hear it crack as a jaw.
I'm going to pick up the gun and be like, all right, I said that's enough of that.
Head just turns to the side to look at you, and then just drops the half elf. And
That's
they just
what I
land
thought.
on the ground and fall on their side.
You can wait outside now. Thank you for your service.
Turn and walk out. Very tense moment. Sorry, Brian, you were about to say something?
No, it's been settled. That's fine.
What would you like to do?
Let's take a coffee break
Yeah. I feel like we've worked pretty hard.
and go get some donuts. Trying to role play properly.
I might say, like, can somebody clean this one up? Gesturing to the elf with the broken jaw.
The orc woman just returns to her spot, turns around and like leans against the wall with the arms crossed, staring at the assassin.
Sue makes a little gesture as if drawing magic cards and drops a little berry in the hand of the elf and says, you seem to have, you don't seem very good at making good choices, or I don't recommend you go gambling. Taking a job that has, 2 or 3 outcomes in which you end up dead and only one in which you end up alive?
And they're just laying on the ground with their hand over their jaw, like, ugh. And they spit out like a bunch of blood, and they just say it was too much money to turn down. I could set me up for the rest of my life. And a couple of healers come down to like check them and stabilize them. And yeah, that's the end of the end of that scene, I suppose. Is there anything else you want to do with the items on the table, or I generally consider that you've had a short rest in the time it took to get the assassin from the palace to the lockup underneath the HQ.
Can you remind us what's on the table?
Right, so on the table, where are my notes? There is the assassin's blade, crossbow and its bolts, the vials of purple liquid, which you surmise are poison, coin purse with some coin in it. Did I tell you how much?
No, I don't remember.
If you open it, it's quite a lot of platinum. There's thieves' tools, rations, and the playing card with the Queen's image on it. And the 1,000 platinum underneath. And then on the ground is like a backpack and the boots. I guess her armor would be there as well. Write that down, but they definitely took it off her. The bag has been emptied and everything that was in it is on the table. Yeah.
Is there any way... I'm going to look at Bobo Loco and I'm going to look around the room and see if there's any elves that kind of look like or other Queen's guards that look like this half-elf assassin. Like,
oh, good.
Because
like in stature.
Yeah, like there's supposed to be a meeting tonight at a dark warehouse, and I know that an elephant isn't going to pass, and a kobold and a halfling probably. If we stack them on top of each other,
in a trench coat.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think perception, investigation, either or. I guess as you look around the room to see if there's anyone that kind of could match.
Investigation 17.
Okay. There's like a couple of half elves that could fit the description, but one's got like a shock of red hair, another one's got like short blonde hair and a beard. There's with a bit of makeup, you could turn them makeup in a wig sort of thing. They could potentially pass. At least from a distance, you think?
I put this forward as an idea to the rest of the group by saying, "Psst, look over there at Darius. I think she could make a pretty good assassin if we dressed her up and brought her into the warehouse. Do you think she'd be game?"
Yeah, I think she'd be game. I don't know what her acting skills are like.
She's a Queen's Guard. Why would she be an assassin? Like, are you suggesting something about her morals?
No, that we would do a bit of role play to catch the person who was supposed to meet her. We could send out a notification that the Queen had died and that we were just covering it up. Just let the underworld think that they know the truth. Don't go out and proclaim to the world, but tell a few secret people that the word on the street is that the Queen has been killed. But we're trying to hush it up.
Something that big, it's gonna just take off no matter how limited you try to keep it. You tell one person something new that big, it's just, I don't think they'll do any good for the common folk. But if you're thinking roleplay, by that you mean like Darius kind of looks like this, is that what you mean?
Yes.
I mean, she was supposed to meet up with her regardless of whether or not she finished. Well, of course, that brings the question. I wouldn't turn back if I didn't finish something and I knew I was going to get killed. But if they know where she lives, then we can just, maybe we go to the burrow.
Stake it out.
So, of course, I guess we want to try and find that meeting place. But if she's gonna act like a prey animal, because she's on the run from these hirers, because she didn't kill the Queen, then they're gonna check her place first too, and that's probably a bit easier for us to scout out ahead of time and lay in ambush.
We could probably send, some grunts out to the warehouse, though. Keep an eye on it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Very well. Let us go check their house. And I do enjoy a good dress up. But if it's not in the cards, that's fine by me.
Oh, no. I mean, I think it's a good idea. It just occurred to me that if we don't want people to think that the Queen's dead, but we do want people to think the assassin's alive. I mean, I'm not smart, but I wouldn't go up turn up for that meeting. So if the assassin's seen elsewhere, like back at her home, then her hirers will come after her, no?
Could be, yes. We should go over and ask Darius if they're going to join in, if they're willing to dress up and walk around town and sort of like run around and sneak around and pretend to be this assassin.
Yeah, so you go up to Darius. This member of the Queen's Guard. They've been around a little while, maybe around the same amount of time as you, because you guys have been in there about like 3 years or so, I'd say, unless you're relatively new still. Can't quite remember everyone's backstories. I'm sorry. I know there's a little bit of variation in time, but they've been around a similar amount of time to you. And they're a little bit shy, but they do a pretty good job. And as you approach, they're kind of just putting some files into a shelf, and they're like, "Oh, Quarthus, how's the investigation going? You were right in the midst of it."
I believe we have a few leads on who might be hired the assassin, but we need a bit of help.
Jolly good.
We wondered if you might be willing to dress up as the assassin and walk around town to draw out people who think that she's captured.
Oh, an impersonation job. Oh,
yes.
Undercover. That could be fun. Yes, I mean, I'm happy to do it for the cause.
Go see the people in the sneaky department, branch R. You know, the ones who will outfit you with a wig and some makeup, and you can take these boots and this crossbow.
Oh, I understand. Yes.
We got two ideas of where Matt could go. She could maybe go to this warehouse that she was supposed to meet her hirers at.
Yes.
Or she could go back to her place as if she was trying to escape the city before her hirers found out she didn't finish the job. Do you have a preference? Because you're the one's going to be the bait.
It occurs to me that if I had just assassinated the Queen, I'd want to lie low for some time before approaching the people who were meant to pay me the rest of my money. Where they would they go back home, or would they simply
I think in either case, this employer probably has eyes on their place. So we might be able to draw someone out.
Right. Well, if you think it'll help. Sorry?
What time is it right now?
So it was about midday-ish when they were taking a light lunch while they were discussing stuff in the garden, and then the assassination attempt occurred, and then the battle. So I'd say it puts you about mid-afternoon, so like equivalent of like 3-ish in the afternoon. I'd say. So you waited for your adrenaline to die down. You took a break while they like kind of searched the assassin and that type of thing, and then you answered some questions and that type of thing, and filled out your reports of your recount of events. So yeah, I'd say probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you've got a little bit of time before night falls, and you like. They would have told you it would have been like the dead of night, like midnight at the warehouse is when the drop was meant to happen. So yeah, but you've got some time. But Darius says, sorry, go ahead.
And we do get the donuts.
Oh, of course. There's just donuts everywhere.
There's weak coffee and donuts in the break room.
Yeah.
Just awful, terrible coffee.
That's what Darius is. She's eating a donut.
Right. No, there would definitely be beignets. I think there would be beignets.
Okay.
And that would be nice. It would be weak coffee, but jam-filled beignets. So yeah, you've eaten some of these while you've given your plan to Darius, and Yeah, he seems okay with it, because it's part of the investigation. So
I went with the she.
she.
I was
Sorry,
saying
my
Darius.
apologies.
Yeah.
My
I was
apologies.
figured it's
She.
better to go with the one that doesn't have the beard.
Of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she says, of course, I'm happy to do my part. I'll have to get permission, but I'm sure it'll be fine. This takes precedence over anything else happening in the city right now. So yes, I guess I'll get sorted. I'll
get ready and meet back up with us in what, an hour? An hour?
Half an hour?
Oh, very well. Then she'll go off to get everything sorted on her end. You've got a department that deals with undercover stuff, so they know how to dress people up.
Branch R.
Branch R, yeah. So once they're involved, it's not a spitting image, but it's a pretty decent. It's a very good likeness of the assassin. Even got the dark bits under the eyes. There's a wig that kind of matches, and it looks like they've added some oil or some dirt to it to match the scraggliness of the hair. And they've even braided parts of it to match the hair.
In this time, Suk has managed to eat 15 beignets and about 3 cups of coffee.
Jittering off your seat.
Weirdly, she seems completely unaffected.
Okay.
That's all we've ever seen her eat as well. It's weird. It's she lives off these free beignets.
Put them in your pockets for later.
So that's why I have so many neck ruffles. I'm just hiding beignets. It's the powdered sugar everywhere.
So you know that the prep for Darius will take some time, possibly an hour, maybe more. Is there anything you'd like to do in the meantime except for wait in the break room?
Make sure that that Amanda knows what we're doing.
Okay. So yeah, Amanda is at a table filling out some forms, some reports. We'll look up as you enter, and please, what news do you have?
Well, it's been a team effort. We've all worked together, even with the orcs, and we've uncovered the motive for the killing, which is money.
Right.
And
The oldest motive known to man.
So,
the reason for the assassin. We don't really know what the reason for the hire is.
So now we need to figure out who the person who hired is, and we're going to go to where the assassin was supposed to meet them, or perhaps to the assassin's house with one of our co-workers as bait.
Oh, you've roped someone to help you with this?
Yes, Darius.
Right, good choice.
There is a warehouse that the assassin was supposed to report to. Mm-hmm. I recommend sending a unit there, keeping an eye on the place.
Quiet unit.
Plain clothes, I understand.
Plain clothes.
You hand the address over, and she copies it down and hands you the slip of paper back, and says, "I'll get your team on it immediately."
In fact, why don't we all get into our plain clothes as well, as we are supposed to be doing some sneaking?
That's within your purview, of course. You wish to switch out?
Oh yeah, I guess it's not very sneaky if we want to look like regular folks, but we're all wearing uniforms, huh?
Not very sneaky at all.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say.
You have your street clothes in the equivalent of your locker. Yeah, so you can easily switch into them if you wish.
Yeah.
It's a visual thing. You still have your armor, whatever it is.
But now we get to draw them differently.
You're already tired of drawing them the way they were.
I am going to take like a small item, maybe just like the empty pouch or something that has the assassin scent on it for
sure.
future reference.
Yeah. You wanted to, you could go back down to the cell and just like cut a piece of their clothing off. Yeah, like a strip of their.
Yep.
If that, yeah.
Or take a piece of their hair or something.
Yeah, or that too.
Yeah.
They kind of watch
Take
you
a
as you
finger.
enter.
So
Just yeah, mine now.
do this. Thanks.
Yeah, again, as you enter the cell, they perk up a little bit and they watch you warily, and then they eye the orc. And as you come in, you take a knife out, and they're like, okay. And then you just kind of like cut off a lock of hair and tie it.
I'll just be like, relax, this won't hurt a bit. Unless it does. And then I reach slowly before I grab a hand and go.
And they flinch a little bit as you do that, but you leave the cell and you can see they're visibly shaken. They did not expect to have their jaw cracked by an orc today. So
Does she look like she was healed from that?
Yeah, there's like a bandage around her head with some wadding and stuff. You don't think she'll be eating anything but soup for a while, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you caught it, but I dropped a good berry for her.
Oh yes. Oh, that does healing, doesn't it? Okay.
Yeah. Or I mean, like not that much healing, but more it'll leave her fed for a day at least.
Yeah. She definitely wasn't sure what it was, and then looked up at you and was like, "All right." And then I guess probably ate it. So that would have healed the jaw up, but it wasn't enough to like stop the pain. So any physical damage would have been healed, but that ache is still like throbbing jaw, and that'll stay for a while. So yeah. What would you like to do?
Did we actually find out where the assassin
what did she
lived?
Let's say during the course of the interrogation, you managed to get that out of them. And it's there's a small apartment down in the industrial area, which is right near the dock ward in the residential area that they stay in. And you kind of know the area relatively okay. It's not a great place to live. It's pretty gross down there with the amount of like coal smoke and whatnot. But it's a good place for an assassin to disappear.
All right, let's slink off and stealth our way to this person's house with Darius, tailing behind Darius.
So how do you want to do this? Because you have access to a like a police van of sorts, like an unmarked one, if you wish, like kind of like.
So we can do like a proper stakeout.
Take them back to the forest, and then follow them out of the forest. So that if anybody is following their path.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you go back up into the forest there. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So when they get back to the forest, she would shift into wolf form, and kind of like snuffle around and try to find the assassin's traces, where she came in, how she came out, where she was hanging out at, too, so that Darius can leave by the same way generally, or in the same general direction.
Okay.
Maybe more of a dog, so that's not so out of place in the city. But.
Right, yeah, because a wolf is very much like, oh, that's a wild animal. Okay.
Is it like a chihuahua? Like a street dog?
With a little chewini.
Yeah. Do you give? I'm guessing you either throw it down on the ground or something first, or give it to one of your compatriots. But the little bit of hair before you turn into a dog, so you can sniff it once you've transformed. But before we get to that, you guys head back up into the palace area, then down into this the area where the assassination attempt took place, and push your way into the forest a little bit, and you find where you track down the assassin. You give the little bit of hair to one of your friends. Darius is with you, and they watch as you transform, and they say, "Oh, it's the first time I've seen that happen. That's quite peculiar." And you transform into a dog, and one of them leans down with a bit of hair, and you sniff it. So give me a. Oh, this is going to be a hard one. I think it's a survival check, unless you want to use it to track down someone in this sense. So I think survival fits pretty well. Investigation could work.
What about survival with advantage because they're using scent?
Do dogs get advantage? Scent?
Mastiffs do.
Okay. Well, let's use a mastiff. So yeah, you get advantage on that.
On wisdom, on perception checks, like smell. I don't know if you want to extend that to survival.
Well, I think it applies because you're specifically using your smell to do it. So yeah, go with wisdom perception.
Yeah. Not that either of those particularly good. 15.
15. Yeah, you pick up the scent. You start exactly where you track them down. It leads back up to where the assassin was sitting when they fired the bolt, and then back into the woods again. And you follow a kind of a route that is definitely like sticking to the quieter parts of the woods, the trees and the shrubs, making sure like they obviously stopped in certain places for a long time because their scent's a little bit stronger. But the further you go, the more it begins to fade because it's longer ago that it happened. And you follow it through until you get to a fence area. Pardon me. And you find where the woods continue past the fence into the Arbra district, which is like kind of the open area, like the Hyde Park sort of area of this the city. But the woods extend into it, and you find a spot in the fence where it's been broken apart or like lifted out. So it looks, when you look at it, it's not. It doesn't look broken, but as you get closer, you can easily push it aside and fit like a humanoid-sized person through. And that leads into the park, and through there to like certain seats, and in the distance you can see the great tree of the city where everyone goes to worship the gods and do their spiritual things. And yeah, it kind of leads around a bit, and I guess at this point, give me another wisdom perception check. It's starting to get a little bit difficult to pick up the scent. Trying to mingle with a lot more of the city smells. Not natural 20? Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good, I guess.
Pretty good.
So yeah, do you...
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I'm trying to play it down, you know. So how... You mentioned you wanted to let Darius go ahead.
Yeah. I would guess I should go ahead, like in the lead. Darius should probably walk alone, and then the other two can take over.
Yeah, we'll kind of tail.
We shouldn't all look like we're together anyway, certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Darius can follow me at a distance.
Lobo Loco can hide in my shadow.
Yeah.
Is Darius going to walk with you? Like you're their
No.
dog? No? Okay.
No,
Going to follow you. Okay.
I'm just like a stray dog who's kind of going. "Doo, doo, 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 doo."
Yeah.
Oh,
Stop
singing dog.
All singing, all dancing.
All right. Darius is going to follow along at a respectful distance, and they know their job. They're as trained as you are in this, so they make their way through the city, pretending to like not notice you, decked out like the assassin, but still managing to somehow blend in with everyone, which is unique because the assassin's armor is kind of dark and a little bit scuffed up and whatnot, but it's just down to their skill that they're able to manage to look like they still belong there, despite their attire. And you think that they've lost track of you occasionally, but and you turn around to look to see where Darius is, but then you see they just walk up next to you and continue walking past very casually, and then you kind of run forward into the crowd and keep following the scent. And the scent actually, leads you through the city all the way back to the apartment, the assassin's apartment, which you have the address for.
Mm-hmm.
But you wanted to make some rolls while you went, right? Make sure no one's following and that type of thing.
That would probably be good. And if the others want to do that, I'm not sure how much my attention is taken up by trying to find the scent.
My stealth check is 18.
Right, 18 for stealth. Yeah. Sorry, I know I'm doing this out of order. I apologize.
20. Dirty 20.
Okay. And are you trying to stay out of sight as well, Priscilla? Yeah, no?
I mean, I'm trying not to look suspicious. Okay. I don't know. I'm trying to still stay out of sight, per se.
Well, the good thing is about being able to transform yourself into a dog is that you look like a dog. So most people don't pay you any mind. When you get a bit too close to some of the food stalls, they like try to chase you off. Everyone expects that you're just a stray dog.
Yeah, it takes some time occasionally to act like a stray dog, sniff things and then try to steal a bread roll or whatever. But
and you do a good job of it. And Darius keeps pace with you the whole time, and the two of you think that you're acting casually enough that you're not spotted. So but you've got like a good enough eye on each other as well, so you don't lose each other in the crowd. And how are you staging yourselves? It's like Priscilla or Sakara right in the lead, Darius following, and then the two of you together, or like kind of a little bit apart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then make some perception checks to see if you're being followed or tailed.
$14.
10. I give myself advantage for smell, and I still am not particularly good at it.
Okay. You don't notice anything. Okay, every now and again you'll see like someone kind of stare at the dog wandering by itself, but that's about it. And it leads you down into the industrial area, and to the base of an apartment building, basically, which you recognize as this is the address that the assassin gave you. And Darius kind of looks up at it and then isn't sure if they should go up or not.
I guess at that point I would probably like sort of flop in the shade and wait for Darius to approach and then act like I'm begging for scraps or something.
Are there any spots nearby where we could hang out that aren't too suspicious, like a newsstand or a coffee shop or something?
Yeah, there would be a...
You said it's an industrial type of area?
Yeah, so you know what? There's probably a pub for all the working class people, so you could probably pull up a stool there and keep an eye on the front door and like the side door.
Does it have a good... Well, actually, maybe one of us should go around the back. I'll say that to Quarthus. I'll be like, I'm going to head around the back.
So the flat itself is it's a multi-story affair. It's mostly brick up to a point, and the brickwork is like almost black because of the soot in the air. It's above It's definitely above some shops. What those shops are, I'm not entirely sure of, but it's going to be like a brass worker's shop or something like that. And somewhere they make fittings for something else. One of the places that creates like washers or specific parts for moving industrial equipment. There is like an alley that runs along the back, like most of the blocks in the city. There's always a place for the night soilmen to come around and pick up the bits and pieces, and then there's also like a separate entrance at the front that leads up to the second floor. But I'm going to ask because Caitlin, do you have some eye issues tonight? Did we want to call it there and pick it up again the weekend?
Yeah, we can. This seems like a pretty natural place to have a cliffhanger.
Do you have one more thing to drop? And then...
Yeah, leave us on a proper cliffhanger. We see Darius's body come smashing out of the second floor window or something.
Lands in the car alarm starts going.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm realizing is that you would have found the keys to the apartment in the backpack as well, right? Like you would have all that sort of stuff. So Darius would have collected them, and they would have kind of looked around to make sure, do that surreptitious. Is anyone watching me? They don't lock eyes with you, but you see them look at you, and they walk across the street, insert the key into the door and unlock it, go upstairs. What happens next? Find out next week. Well, on Saturday, I think. Right? We said Saturday was good?
So
Saturday works for me.
Yeah. We're going to do a different stream, a different day.
Yeah. Because next week we're going to be back with the Halon saga, as Boya's back on the 2nd. So we thought we'd play on Saturday to get the thrilling conclusion. Hopefully, this one-shot's turned into a 3-shot now, which is the way most D&D games go anyway.
I've never managed to run a one-shot in actually one session.
Yeah, I think it's impossible. Scientifically proven to be impossible. A friend of mine, Eric, ran a Cyberpunk red game for me for my birthday, which was meant to be a one-shot, but I think it took like 5 sessions. We only finished on Saturday, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Matt's birthday was in January.
Thank you, Eric. Actually, I think I just got a message from him telling me how long we played. There you go. Okay. So it was really good fun though. But hopefully this is still interesting, exciting, and there's enough intrigue for you. Sorry I didn't flesh out the Queen's full backstory and lineage.
That's okay. We worked it out on the stream.
So,
what do you mean you don't have the entire complex web of interrelations and networks and obligations and duty?
I wish I just had that information to be like, there it is. I'm magic. I'm the magic man. But I was like, you're definitely just going to interrogate the assassin. Like that's going to be what you do. You're not going to.
Well, that's a red herring.
But it was good. It was good. Keep me on my toes.
You're talking about one shots, and that's like when I participated in Adventures League. They're all one shots, and they all work as one shots, but you don't get as much chance to role play because it's just straight up. Oh, that guy's got a name. We need to talk to him.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
really like MMO style.
I think that was my thinking. Is like this is meant to be a one shot, so I'm going to keep it like pretty lean. I'm just going to be like, here's the obvious thing you meant to do, but I didn't expect it to spiderweb out, which is it's good. I think fleshing it out more it's more fun and creates a more interesting story too. So there's absolutely no issues there. Anyway, cool.
I just want to put this out into the world. I really want to punch something next time we play. So
well,
make sure that happens.
Instead of shooting.
I had a map for you guys to get to, but unfortunately we didn't get to that point. But that's okay. There'll be plenty for you to punch next session, I think. So
that's good. Bobo has gone far too long without punching something.
Yeah, Ufkase, which is Eric, he says, in retrospect, back when I ran actual one-shots, those games were like 8-hour plus long games, which is fair, yeah. We play for like 2 hours at a time, so
yeah,
we can cram a one-shot into an 8-hour set, or 2-hour games, maybe. Anyway. Yeah, cool.
Okay. Can I end on something I liked today?
Sure.
Favorite moment?
Please go.
One of my favorite moments was finding out how kobolds, what a kobold's diet is.
There's no reflection of this in the reality of the player at all.
Did anyone else have any favorite moments from tonight's game?
I liked roping in a random coworker to this one shot.
It's turned into more of like a police procedural than I thought it would, but it's still fun. I think the CSI Queen's Pride is the most apt description. But hey, like they're there to help if you need them to, and they're more than happy to as well, right? So.
I often feel like D&D games, there's a lot of like investigating that you need to do. Like so much of playing D&D is like trying to figure out what the DM is trying to make you do. So actually playing like a detective kind of makes it a little bit easier to role play because you can just be like, oh, let's just ask a ton of questions because that's what my character would do.
It's good that you know. Doing that. And it makes, like I said, for a more interesting story, I think, when we're fleshing out the story together. But yeah. So unfortunately, sorry, Priscilla, did you have a favorite moment as well? Or?
I actually liked the orc breaking the assassin's jaw. That felt unexpectedly brutal.
I'm trying to show them as not necessarily like stereotypical orcs. But also still kind of very strong and brutish. And I feel like that's something an orc would do if they were given the opportunity to intimidate someone. I'm glad you enjoyed it. The violence against a prisoner in your care.
A little bit of police brutality.
Just a little bit. Anyways, but yeah, I'm sorry we have to call it a little bit early. Caitlin's eyes... a little bit weird tonight because of
sorry I've been like blinking and like going like looking like a pirate all night.
But they'll be better by tomorrow, so continue on the weekend. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed it, and make your mark a magical one. See you on Saturday. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.